Hi, I'm Colin Sells. I'm the Chief Executive of the 3C Consultants. We're doing a webinar today on data quality and the reasons why it is becoming so important for the social housing sector. Just a little bit of formality before we start. We're going to have a Q&A session running. So if you have any questions that arise, then please just put them there and we'll come back to you afterwards. So just as by a way of an introduction, the sector currently is on a trajectory of very rapid change, driven by the need for remote working and mobile working, also changing customer demands and expectations, a real drive for value for money, and a need to really get some great customer service going out there. And when you kind of consider what sits at the heart of that, it tends to be data. Data drives it all. Data, you get the right data and it's correct and it's on your systems, you will provide great customer service. Things, processes that just work. If you get the data right, you make better decisions. To get the data right, you will become more efficient. And it's because of that 3C have started a data services division. We've been providing data services for many years, but we've now taken on Gary Clark, who's joined us very recently. He's extremely experienced in the sector, having worked within it at a very senior level for over a decade, and he's come to help us drive this area of our business forward. So I'm going to, with no more ado, hand over to Gary and let him explain to you why he's joined 3C.
Great, cheers, Colin. Hi, thanks for joining us today. My name is Gary Clark. I'm the Consultant Director for Data Services here at 3C in my fifth week now. So reasonably new to 3C, but the reason I joined 3C is because of, I suppose, the position the world finds itself in at the moment, and in particular organisations closer to my heart, the kind of not-for-profit, the social businesses, social enterprises that found themselves a few months ago having to kind of switch operating model pretty quickly. Some had already kind of done it or halfway through doing it, and they'd found it slightly easier, I guess, to pivot. But for many others that were either not even thinking about it, or was in planning, or they begin to kind of launch their plans around making a more or engendering a more mobile workforce, were forced into deploying and executing that really quickly. And I would imagine the majority of them have stood back recently and thought, blimey, you know, that was down for a couple of years' time, but we've actually done that in days. And you know, with that kind of result and success, there'll be a few people that will now be thinking, well, if we can deploy that quickly and that speedily, what else can we do next? And that's the reason I've joined 3C. Not only have we probably seen some eureka moments around the sector, but also it's super interesting and fascinating to see where organisations want to take their business models next and their service models next. And that's the reason I'm here, because I want and my colleagues want to help organisations kind of, you know, achieve some of that really interesting stuff. But in terms of the issues that we're looking to help organisations with, that's primarily around their tech and their data. And you know, as we know across the sector, it's been built on, you know, primarily legacy systems for a long time, and as great as they were when they first come in, they haven't really, I don't think, in some cases, kept pace with what's going on kind of outside the four walls of an association, or outside the walls of the sector even. So many organisations now are looking for different solutions to that, and are kind of eyeing up kind of, I suppose, non-sector based type systems, which, you know, are not cheap, but certainly seem to be delivering the sort of the sort of solutions that is being sought. But also, of course, before you get into the tech and the systems and all that sorts of stuff, you've got a fundamental level that sits beneath it, which is the data estate. And again, as a result, I guess, of the kaleidoscope of systems, repositories that have been knocking around organizations for a long time, that data is in so many different places. It's both structured in your databases and kind of unstructured, sitting in personal folder structures, directories, emails, etc. And we now live in a regime of heightened regulation. We've got GDPR in now; it's been in for a couple of years. You've got a harder regulatory regime coming through from the regulator of social housing, and there's likely to be more regulation around building regulation too, and certainly around safety and construction. So there's going to be a much greater requirement for data to be used to make the right decisions. And we're hoping that we're going to be able to help organisations with this. And of course, some of the downsides for field data being all over the place and systems not being able to talk to each other is that you can sometimes get kind of issues around the robustness of performance data and compliance data, which is a really important area. But it also means that operational processes can sometimes be inefficient. You've got heightened risk of GDPR breaches. It doesn't enable you to kind of provide any trustworthy insight, and certainly nothing that will enable you to be kind of more predictive. And there's also issues around being able to serve your customers in a way where you're able to get a single view of the customer's journey so far, so you're able to very quickly either anticipate what they're contacting you for, or in a proactive way be able to provide it very quickly or in advance. So there's some of the issues that you can sometimes get when your data's a bit dispersed and sitting in dark places. They can it can bite you on the butt at some point, which is not really what you want. And I think if I was to sum it up, sad as I am, went and read the last sector risk profile for 2019. I think that the regulator of social housing published back in last October, and I've never, the many years that I've been reading these things each year, I've never seen data and technology mentioned so much. It's in the top 2 strategic risks around health and safety and stock condition asset management. These are huge emerging areas of risk and regulatory attention. So, you've really got to get your house in order where that's concerned. And not only is the rest of the report littered with references around accurate data, system integration, using data for boards to make better decisions, but there's a whole section, for the first time, there's a whole section called data integrity and technological risks. And if I was to sum up the whole report just by reading to you word for word one paragraph, and this is perhaps an indication of where the regulator is looking as its laser focus at the moment, is this really sums up, I think, all of the other segments of the report around data integrity and technological risks. And it reads: data integrity and technological risks. Integrity of data is fundamental and permits good board decision making. Failure to manage data integrity risk is indicative of a poor control framework. Integrity can be lost due to poor technology or when data is processed incorrectly. Erroneous data can be costly to fix and can damage the reputation of an individual provider. Accurate data and up-to-date information will assist in areas such as compliance with rent setting, maintenance providers' asset management strategies, and in the preparation of KPIs. There it is, right there. It's got its own paragraph, and that, I think, probably underscores the rest of what's in the document relating to data and systems and integrity. So that's, I think, really important for especially social housing providers to understand. And I think on those areas, this is where 3C can really come into its own. So how can we help? How can 3C help? Well, for the last 5 years, we've been providing expert resource to mainly the social housing sector, but other not-for-profits and charities too. We recognised, I think 3C have recognised more recently that the whole area of data is an emerging and increasingly important one for organisations to get to grips with. Many organisations certainly have this in their sights, but because data is inherently hidden and not visible and not in front of your face, it can often get overlooked for other more tangible projects to be invested in. But for me, personally speaking, I don't think there's any greater kind of priority of investment than certainly starting with data, especially if you have plans to kind of digitize, modernize, channel shift and transform your organization. The first step always is making sure that in my view, is making sure that your data estate is in the right place. And we can help with that. Primarily we help organizations, I suppose broadly, with their data strategy. Within that comes the data accuracy, compliance, governance, the whole way that data flows through the organization. That's something we can help you with and help manage and monitor. But also, once that's in place, you've got a very sound foundation from which to spring your transformation plans from. But also it enables you to get into more clever insight and perhaps some more predictive analysis. Certainly on the governance front, we're working with our partner Infoboss, which is a really smart automation engine that can sit across your kind of data estate and kind of organize it, extract and monitor and audit for you. And this is almost a kind of real-time data audit monitoring tool, as well as it can do 100 other things as well. And we're working very closely with them to provide both human and machine experience to help organizations get their data into some sort of order. So what will this mean for our clients? Well, I think it means that you're able to start to trust in your data a bit more. I mean, once it's been cleaned, organised, pinned down and locked down, and it's in the right systems, doing the right things for you, can then very seriously think about what you need to do next in terms of transformation and shifting some of the service and business models around it. But the data is the first stage for me. Get the data straightened out. And I think once that's done, a very sound foundation you can spring from. It will maybe even enable the potential for complete self-service from your customers, your staff. Let's not forget employees, but also your stakeholders too. And ultimately, getting your data right and then transforming your business, you're going to be able to provide a lot more value for money, be more efficient and effective, but also be able to kind of liberate some of the wasted costs in your business and perhaps even reinvest some of that back into the more vulnerable people in society, so that you get an immediate kind of positive hit on your social return on investment. That would be the sort of virtuous circle, I guess, for want of a better phrase, that we'll be looking to help you with. And also, and finally, and kind of last but not least, it will help with compliance. It will help monitor compliance by making sure that the right data is being reported upon, and that there's that audit monitor kind of sitting over the top of it to make sure that any performance information, compliance information is kind of coming from the right sources and reporting in the right way. Really, really important that for solid governance. So if you're thinking about this, if you're planning for this, if you've been inspired by recent events in a positive sort of way, if you're now thinking that as a result of kind of a new immediate business operating model, you're now thinking about the kind of what next and what the next stage might be, or you're already accepting that you've got some data challenges, but you think it's just too big, for you to kind of tackle on your own, please do give us a ring, get in touch. We can have an informal chat and see what your data challenges are. We have a really experienced bunch of people from, young Cambridge graduates coming in that, first in maths and right the way through to old bears like me that have been knocking around the sector for a little while and's got a whole mixture of experience. So there's a really nice kind of mixture of, I think, experience and expertise that we can bring to any of your data challenges that you might have. So feel free to just drop us a note, and I'd be more than happy to pick up the phone or have a Zoom or a Teams call and chat over what your thoughts and plans are for the future to see if we might be able to help you out. That's kind of it from me, but I'd like to just kind of leave you with an open invite. We're going to be developing and filming some further webinars looking at maybe some individual strands of our data services and what we have to offer, and why we think that they might be kind of useful for people to think about. So look out for those. It'd be great if you can join us, but for now it's back to you, Colin. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gary. That was a really great summary. So to confirm, if you get your data right, it will help you manage change within your business, and importantly, it'll help you demonstrate just what you've achieved. You get your data right, you will provide better service, you will be more efficient, you will demonstrate great governance within your business, and you will be compliant. So I hope you enjoyed today's webinar. If you'd like any more information, or if we can assist you at all, please don't hesitate to contact us. We will be doing more webinars like this in the future, so I look forward, I hope, to seeing you then. Thanks very much.